Do's and the don'ts, just very simply, the do's and the don'ts. What do you put into your body? What do you not recommend for us to put into our body, in other words, to consume?
Processed food essentially cannot provide life.
Processed food?
Processed food, most cooked food essentially. You know, for millions of years we didn't have fire. And we keep repeating this issue because here in the tropics we have live foods, the fruits and the vegetables in the natural state. If we don't assess them, or if we don't, patronize them, and we choose, those foods that have been processed, killed essentially, dead food, most of the things that we have for breakfast, most of us have for breakfast, and ignoring, the live elements that contain the enzymes, the cosmic elements that will, make us, that will guarantee our integrity, we will suffer. And human beings essentially abuse, there are cycles for reproduction in the animal kingdom. Until, animals have estrus, they'll never want to have sex. But we have abused all those laws. There are laws that, that guarantee or that control when and how we should even have sex. Most of the time, in marriage, sex is, sort of, or coitus happens in the night, which is the worst period that it should happen, because the peak of the energy, the human energy is between, at daytime, that is between 10 and 2. Unfortunately, we have created a lot of distortions about, how we should live and so on because of vested interest. So I think that we need more research, more understanding, especially for adolescents, students, who indulge in sex, because they want to gratify that sense of, of touch and so on. I think that if we understood, or if we are made to understand, what purpose the seed can serve, especially for students, this country would be in better state than it is at the moment.
So what are some of the specific factors that affect the destruction of sperm, the low production of semen, and therefore low fertility chances for men?
Okay, acidity, toxicity in the human body, the lack of the nutrients that are heat, radiation, there are several factors. Your emotions can also play a part. Drugs, also play a part, recreational drugs, alcohol, and so on. And once we are able to overcome and understand what is happening, we will be able to correct these things. It's not too difficult.
Some interesting facts here that I've pulled up online, and these are sperm facts that every woman should know. It's interesting that it's directed at women. Well, first of all, it talks about the average number of sperm in an ejaculation. This one puts it between 200 and 500 million. So it looks like 500 million is the high end, 40 million is the low end, and 200 is somewhere in the middle. Now, sperm are produced in a man's testes, and it takes 10 weeks, according to this information, for a single sperm to reach maturity, and then they can wait for up to 2 weeks for their big day, their big outing, i.e. ejaculation. They hang out in a coil-like structure that runs across the top of each testicle. Now, if they are not ejaculated, the sperm are broken down and reabsorbed into the body. Now, semen contains only 10% sperm. The rest is enzymes, vitamin C, calcium, protein, sodium, zinc, citric acid, and fructose sugar that Dr. Ofie Agyeman mentioned. And what men eat does affect the quality of the sperm. So there are certain things to avoid, as the doc was saying, and certain things to actually choose. Healthy men produce between 70 to 150 million sperm a day. And when they ejaculated, the loss is 3 times that, and that is why men seem so tired, usually after sex. Inside a woman's body, a sperm can live up to 5 days, and here's the big one: there are male and female sperm. Now, apparently, the females are slower but stronger, while the males are faster but weaker. Does this strike a note of resonance to you?
Yes. Well, the women sort of invigorated by, the seed of men. But the men can also die from the discharge of the seed, from the ejaculation of the seed. In fact, in rabbits, if you notice that anytime they have the ejaculation, they faint. Some even die, and there's so many men who have died because of the abuse of.
But tell me this, Doc. You've spoken at length about food and lifestyle choices. What about clothes? There is this urban legend that says that if you wear underwear that is too tight for a man, or if you wear trousers that are too tight, it can adversely affect your reproductive ability, your sperm count. Is this true?
It is very true.
Temperature and tightness. Explain this to me, please.
Well, heat, the body temperature, there should be a lower temperature in the scrotum, which contain the testicles, to create the environment within, and also the quality of the seed to enable it to fertilize the egg. If you sit for too long, especially like you said, with very tight underwear, and or if you are a driver with the vehicles that have engines under the seat and so on, definitely you're going to destroy your seed. So normally, if you reach the time where you want to, if you come to the time when you want to fertilize an ovum, when you have coitus, you have to lower the temperature through water. You can just subject to the whole scrotum to very cold water, and then it will create the appropriate quality temperature for.
If masturbation has any effect, good or bad, on the quality of sperm.
Yes,
it does.
Yes, very much so, because the faculties are weakened, and the elements within will not be normal because you have abused.
Is that a fact?
Yeah, absolutely.